The game is lame and absurd, but you spit. You need to sit back and observe a certified pimp. So oh yes he is. I mean that boy does the shit. He's a mess he is. Fresh to death. Ain't nobody fresh as he is. They can't compare or get next to him because he's so fly. I mean the boy's so clean. From his white tee on down to those jeans. You see the ice in the pinky.
What's good, everybody? It's your man's Ken Jackson. This is the Ken Jackson Experience. Welcome to the show. A little bit late tonight, but also a little bit earlier than I said. I was going to start at 10:30, but we're close enough. So, it is countdown to Election Day. 22 days. 22 days until November 5th. This will be our last chance to finally be done with Donald Trump and company. You gotta get out to vote because it is vitally important that we do so. Donald Trump is on a mission to take over and become possibly America's first dictator. And we have to stop him. We have to stop him. We have to get Kamala into office and make her our first female and woman of color leader of the free world. Needs to be done. I don't care what you think about Kamala. A lot of the talk about her is been debunked. It's false. She's not this monster that Donald Trump and MAGA freaks have made her out to be. In fact, she's been quite an effective member of our governmental leadership for 25 plus years now. She's one of the big rumors going around is that she slept her way to the top. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, considering the fact that she was elected to every job she held. Elected by the people. So, if she slept her way to the top, boy, she laid down with a whole lot of motherfuckers. But Kamala Harris has been a very effective prosecutor. I know a lot of people, especially in the black community, don't like prosecutors, but hey, you know what? Prosecutors have a job to do. And unfortunately, it calls for locking people up. So she is the perfect candidate right now to be running against Donald Trump, because when she wins, I have absolutely no doubt that she's going to lock his ass up right where he needs to be. There is a nice, cozy little prison cell waiting for Donald Trump and his cronies if they want to continue the bullshit. This country has been in utter turmoil ever since Donald Trump first held office. The hatred, the hateful rhetoric that he and his MAGA freaks have been spreading has torn us apart. It's torn this country apart. Let me rephrase that. He hasn't torn us apart. He has revealed the fact that this country has always had a serious divide right down the middle. Half of this country is still extremely racist and would love to take us back to the 1800s, while the other half has common sense, obviously, and the wherewithal to lead this country into a greater future. The Make America Great Again moniker is a bunch of bullshit, because when has America been great? America has been a work in progress since day one. It's been an experiment. Sometimes it seems like it's been an experiment in futility, but it's been an experiment, and a lot of people have fought and bled, to keep this experiment going. America may become great one day, but there's so much work that has to be done. But if Donald Trump gets reelected to a second term, we quite possibly could be looking at the very last election in our American lifetime. Think about that. That's not hyperbole, as Joe Biden would say. That's a real clear and present threat that we are facing if Donald Trump gets back into office. He tried it the first time. Fortunately, there were people close to him who pushed back and who set up roadblocks so that he couldn't achieve what his original objective was. But this time around, if he's successful in getting back into office, trust that he is not going to make the same mistake. He is going to definitely recruit, hire, and appoint people that are going to do exactly what he wants. Excuse me. So, check it out. Get out and vote. November 5th is a very important day. It can be a day in infamy, but no matter what, it's going to be a historic day. Either way it goes, it's going to be historic. So there's a lot of craziness going on in the world. The Arab-Israeli war, the Palestinian-Israeli war, which is becoming an Arab-Israeli war. Something needs to be done. Free Palestine, damn it. Israelis, granted, Hamas and Hezbollah, two major terrorist organizations, in the region, but they're terrorist organizations that were actually created because of Israel, by Israel. And there's allegedly a few stories running around that Prime Minister Netanyahu actually financed Hamas and assisted in the raid last year that took over 1,200 Israeli lives that day. And it makes sense because Netanyahu needs this war. He needs this war to stay out of prison himself. Keep in mind, he's been convicted. He's been convicted in a court of law of fraud and corruption. But as long as Israel remains at war, they basically can't touch him. They basically can't touch him. It's time for him to be out. Just like Donald Trump. There's a nice cozy prison cell waiting for Netanyahu. And call me what you want. I'm not anti-Semitic. It's impossible to be anti-Semitic considering the Jews aren't the only Semites in the world. And I don't care what they say. They don't have a monopoly on Semitism. Actually, Arabs are the largest Semitic group on the planet. So if you're Islamophobic, guess what? You're anti-Semitic too. So knock it off with that bullshit. Yes, a lot of people in the world hate Jewish people. And that's sad. We shouldn't hate anybody. Nobody should be hating anybody. So, I personally, I got nothing against Jewish people, but the Zionist government that they have in charge of Israel right now is making the whole Jewish community look extremely bad. And it's not to say the Palestinians don't have a legitimate fight, because their land was taken away from them. Taken away by Great Britain back in, I believe it was 1948, and given to a bunch of refugees and immigrants that came mostly from Russia. Think about that. The original settlers of the new state of Israel mostly came from Russia. Now, why didn't the Russians give them a homeland within their borders? Why didn't Great Britain give them Germany? Germany is who persecuted them, in World War II. Why didn't they give the Jews Germany? To me, that would have made sense. But no, they wanted this so-called homeland of theirs that they claim was decreed to them by God. But listen, God has nothing to do with it, yo. God has nothing to do with it. I had an interesting conversation a few weeks ago, and this is a little bit off topic, but we were speaking about the whole Jewish movement in regards to the Christian movement. You have a lot of these Christian right-wing nationalist freaks out here talking about the Jews will not replace us and this bullshit. I mean, they sound real retarded, if you ask me. Especially when their Lord and Savior, their Jesus Christ, was a Jew. He was a Jewish rabbi. So it makes no sense to me. This whole religious bullshit, and this whole dynamic makes no sense to me. It never did make sense to me. Even when I was a kid, I was like, nah, that shit don't make no damn sense. But, hey, whatever it is you believe, that's up to you. I'm not mad at you. You can believe what you want to believe, whatever floats your boat. But don't push that shit on other people. Everybody doesn't want what you got. That's just real. Everybody doesn't want what you got. And somebody called me a non-believer. A non-believer of what? Because I don't follow your religious beliefs? I'm a non-believer? I'm some kind of animal, a monster, a bad person? Listen, the concept of America was so that people would have religious freedoms, free to believe whatever the hell they want to believe, free to follow whatever religion they choose to follow, if they chose to follow any religion at all, such as myself. I'm not a big fan of organized religion, but that doesn't mean I hate whatever it is that you believe in. I don't care what you believe in. Follow what you want. Live your life the way you choose to live it. But don't push that on me. Let me live my life. Let everyone else live their lives the way they choose. And that's that. That's all I got to say about religion. Back to the subject. November 5th, Election Day. Super, super important that you get up off the couch, get your ass out, and vote the entire ticket. Because understand this, here's what a lot of people don't get. You can vote for a president all day, every day, okay? But if you don't vote for the House of Representatives and the Senate, and put in the ones that are going to support the president, which unfortunately they must be from the same party. So we have to get Democratic control of the House of Representatives, and we have to keep Democratic control of the Senate in order for anything to get done. For anything to get done. Now, mind you, the Republicans have had control of the House of Representatives for quite a while now. And this has been the most unproductive Congress in the history of the Congress. They have gotten absolutely zero legislation through. Nothing. They've been too busy trying to impeach Joe Biden, trying to lock up Beau Biden, trying to derail the Russian-Ukrainian war, trying to get their Lord and Savior Donald Trump back into office. They've been focused so much on dumb shit that they can't govern. They have failed to govern since day one. January 6th should have let you know what they were all about. They're criminals, they're traitors to this country, and they need to go. So November 5th is your chance to get the ball rolling. We got to get Kamala elected, and then when the next congressional elections come around, we got to get the right congressmen and senators in office so that our government can finally make some progress toward putting this country back together. It's a shame Donald Trump's out there now using the hurricanes as a political wrecking ball, basically, telling lies every day, putting out so much false information that people don't know what to do now. You got people out here suffering, and Donald Trump and his cronies are out here putting out all these lies and misinformation every day, and it's actually causing people to lose their lives. It's causing people to suffer even more because they're telling lies to get into power. And so many people believe their lies. It's such a sad, sad situation that we have to deal with. So we got to get rid of this dude. We got to get rid of all of the people that support him within the government. I mean, the entire governmental system needs to be gutted and rebuilt from the bottom up. And that's how politics work, y'all, from the bottom up, not from the top down. It starts with your local elections. You have to get involved in your local school boards and your city councils and your county seats and all of that. You know, your state elections are super important because these are all the people that eventually rise up to federal positions. And you just have to be mindful of who you're voting for, you know, what policies they stand on, you know, and then you got to stand on business and get out there and vote. I've heard so many people saying that they're not going to vote this time around because they feel like their vote doesn't count. Listen. If your vote did not count, the Republican Party wouldn't be fighting so hard to restrict your vote, and the Democratic Party wouldn't be fighting so hard to get your vote. So it's super important to both sides. And it's not even a matter of voting for the lesser of two evils. Evil is evil. However, I personally don't believe that the Democratic Party is inherently evil. They haven't shown that. There's a few assholes within the Democratic Party. There are definitely some corrupt people in the Democratic Party that are out for themselves. Yes, there are. But it's nothing like what we're facing with Donald Trump and his MAGA freaks. It's not even close. Not even close. And if you fuck around and sit around at home and not get out and vote, that's a vote for Donald Trump. And if he gets in office, y'all gonna fuck around and find out. Believe me. They bitch and complain every day about freedom of speech. Listen, freedom of speech only applies to government and governmental agencies. Doesn't apply to private companies. X, Facebook, Google, Instagram, all these social media platforms can censor any fucking thing they want to because they are private companies. You're not guaranteed freedom of speech in regards to social media and any other private entity. You're not. They don't have to let you say what you want to say. YouTube doesn't have to let me do this broadcast. If they don't like what I'm saying, they could shut me down anytime. And there's nothing I can do about it because the First Amendment doesn't apply in this situation. YouTube is not a government agency. Facebook is not a government agency. X is not a government agency. The unfortunate thing is they wield a lot of governmental influence because of the money, and it's a shame because the one thing that has definitely ruined politics is money. We got to get the money out of politics. I personally feel like all elections should be financed through a community chest. And whatever's in that community chest should be divided up equally among the candidates, and that should be the only money involved in their campaigns. Their super PACs shouldn't be allowed. All of these groups that support certain candidates, they shouldn't be allowed to put any kind of financing behind anything. All the money should go into a national pot and divide it equally among all the candidates, and let that be the money that they use to run their campaigns. Let's see if they can budget with limited funds and put together effective campaigns to truly win the offices that they want. And another thing I was thinking about the other day, we have this thing every year. Every year, the government is facing a government shutdown. If the government shuts down, the first ones to lose their paychecks should be Congress and the Senate. They should not be compensated if they drop the ball and not approve a budget for our government to continue to operate. Also, they shouldn't be compensated if they don't balance the budget every year. For every year that this country is in debt, we should pull their salaries and put it towards paying off the debt. Because they're not doing their fucking jobs. And that includes the president too. Executive branch and the judiciary. Their pay should be taken as well. All of them should lose their pay if the budget isn't balanced and this government isn't funded properly. We spend way too much money on bullshit programs that really don't exist. Foreign aid, too much money to foreign aid. Take care of home first. I'm all for that. Take care of home first before we try to take care of anybody else. All these black programs and secret programs that the public doesn't know about, that shit needs to go away. It really does. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for technology and all for us as a country having the edge, in certain things, but gotta take care of home first. We spend so much money on the industrial war machine. It's not even funny. This country has a $700 billion a year budget just for military alone. That's a lot of fucking money. That's a lot of money. Especially when you got aircraft carriers, Just the ship alone cost $13 billion to build. We got airplanes that are $2 billion a piece, like the B-2 and the B-21 bombers. F-35 fighters, you know, costing damn near $1 billion a piece. You know, all the ammunition and explosives, missiles, and all that shit that has to be manufactured to conduct warfare. And I'm all for strong defense. I am, because we do have bad players out there that want to do us in. So yes, I'm all for us having a very strong and powerful military. However, even the spending with the military needs to be sensible, because there's a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse within the government, within the military budget, and nothing's getting done. This is why people are so frustrated, because nothing is getting done for us here at home. And that's a problem. That's a problem. How do we solve it? We got to hold them accountable. From the top down, we have to hold them accountable. We, the people, truly do have the power if we, the people, come together. But they keep us all confused. They keep us all fighting amongst each other so that we don't pay attention to what the hell they're doing in Washington and in the state capitals and in the local city legislatures. They keep us divided on purpose, because a house divided will fall. And I guess there's a lot of profit in failure. It's a shame. It's a shame. I don't know what the future holds for us all, but I'm very optimistic that people will do the right thing and get out and vote and vote these idiots out of office. And if they don't want to leave peacefully, then we got to be prepared to eject them non-peacefully. We really do. You know what I'm saying? We can't have another January 6th. Capitol Police, National Guard, they need to be ready this time. Because if these crowds, these mobs start to form up, you know, and decide that they're going to go in and try to take over and block the count, you know, or keep the legitimate winner from taking office, they got to be dealt with. They got to be dealt with. I think if Capitol Police would have dropped a few of them motherfuckers at the door, that shit would have got straight real quick. And we wouldn't be having the problems that we're having now, I do believe. But they took a passive approach. These people got in and tried their best to destroy the Capitol, tried their best to stop the count. They were talking about stopping the steal, but they were actually the ones trying to steal the election. Ain't that something? Think about that. But anyway, 22 days till Election Day, and it's very important that you get out here and you vote. And yo, let's make sure that hold on, what's going on here? My thing's not playing. All right, well, fuck it. We got to make sure that we get the right people in office. November 5th, y'all. Get out and vote. Don't sit at home. I'm E-Man's Ken Jackson. This has been the Ken Jackson Experience. I will see you next Sunday. Peace. 9 p.m. next week. I'll be on time, I promise. Check out the website, www.crazybabytvworld.com. Subscribe to the channel. Like us if you like us. Thumbs down if you don't. But leave a comment. Let us know what you want to talk about. And give us some ideas to make the show better. I'm working on it. I'm like a two-man band right now, so I'm looking for people to come on board, to help me with production and all of that. So, yo, let's make this thing, what it could be. All right. So until next week, I'm your man's Ken Jackson Experience. I am out. Peace.